We all got secrets.
For all of my straight and bi men listening and my gay and bi women listening, everybody who has sex with women and wants to do better, I've got a product for you. Have you heard of Kenneth Play? He is an Adonis of a man, and he has put together a video course teaching others how to please women the way only he knows how. I have personally had the pleasure of spending an intimate evening with Kenneth. I don't think I've ever had a first-time sexual encounter with somebody that was just 100% pleasurable. There was never a moment of pain. There was never a moment of meh. He knew my body better than I knew my body. He found pleasure spots in me that I did not know I had, and he made me come many times. I have gifted his web course, Beyond Satisfied Pro, to lovers of mine, and in every case, they have become better lovers as a result. And now I would like to gift this to you with a 15% discount. Go to kennethplay.com/closeted. That link gets you 15% off Kenneth's Beyond Satisfied Pro course. This is just for my listeners. Trust me, no one regrets being great in bed, and this course will get you there. kennethplay.com/closeted.
We all got secrets. We all got secrets. We all got secrets. We all got raise a glass and bear your soul. Oven Captain Hide and Serve, bleaching Molitor. Oven Captain. We all got secrets.
Happy holidays, pinecones. I hope you are all enjoying some time with your families, some rest, some time off. I hope you're not traveling today, but if you are, I'm happy to be in your ear. I'm releasing something a little different today. I wrote an essay a couple years ago about why I identify as non-binary, and I recorded a voiceover for it for my Substack. So that's what I'm dropping in your feed today. It has nothing to do with Christmas, or the holidays. Why? Because I don't celebrate. I don't mean that as an offense. If you do, I don't want to take your traditions away or yuck anyone's yum, but personally, the Christmas thing I find really tough every single year. They jam the same songs down your throat. It's this mishmash mess of a holiday that was originally a pagan winter solstice festival that got co-opted by early Christianity. Jesus wasn't even born in the wintertime, and none of it makes any sense, and I don't like it. I think Santa Claus is a creepy figure. I think the way we lie to and gaslight children with the whole Santa Claus thing is just horrific and traumatic. I don't like the capitalism aspect. I want to buy people gifts that I love, but I don't want to have to buy everybody gifts at the same time every year. And yet, because I love people, I do. I buy all the gifts. I bought all the gifts. Okay. All right. I might be a little behind. I actually might owe a few people some gifts, but everyone knows that I like a New Year's gift more than a Christmas gift. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is, I'm not a Christmas person. I was going to release a normal interview today, but I realized that other people are Christmas people and Hanukkah people and holiday tradition people. Happy Kwanzaa if you celebrate. Actually, Kwanzaa is my freaking favorite of all of the holiday traditions because at least it's like intentional and has a real meaning and purpose, and you can, it makes sense. It's coherent. Hanukkah does too, actually. Hanukkah's fantastic. The Jews are killing it. I wish I was Jewish, but I'm not. I was raised Episcopalian. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is I don't like Christmas. I don't like the way it's rammed down our throats every year. So I'm releasing something that has nothing to do with Christmas other than this rant. I'm going to give you today an essay I wrote a couple years ago about why I identify as non-binary and how I think that everybody is non-binary, actually, because I don't think that gender is a binary. And neither is biological sex a binary. They're both spectrums. So that being said, enjoy this essay, which I have read for you. It's audio only. So if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, this is This is the last you'll see of my face. That's not true. I'm going to come back at the end with my face again. But in spite of my Ebenezer Scrooginess, I do wish you all a very happy holiday season, whatever holiday you celebrate or don't celebrate. I hope that you take this time to reflect on the crap heap of a year that we are leaving behind and set some intentions for the new year that we are about to step into. And I'm sending you all lots of love and hopes and wishes for warmth and laughter and authentic connections with those that you care most about. And with that being said, enjoy this essay.
We all got secrets. We all got secrets.
Why I'm non-binary and you can too. Our cultural definition of womanhood cannot contain me. When I was 8 years old, I would get my friends to play sexy role-playing games with me. It didn't take much convincing. We were all curious about our bodies and the idea of combining them in interesting ways. We all knew there was something called sex that adults tried to hide from us by spelling it out instead of saying it. We knew it involved being naked and rolling around together, usually in a bed. It seemed sort of illicit and exciting. A little scary too, but mostly thrilling. The games were innocent but also transgressive. In the one I remember most vividly, I would play a hard-working lumberjack, chopping down trees in the heat of summer. At some point, I'd stop to take my shirt off and mop my brow with it, like I'd seen the neighborhood boys do when they came to mow our lawn. I'd infuse my movements with masculine swagger. My friend Laura would play my sweet, dutiful wife. Her main job was serving me platters of pancakes on my breaks. When she approached, I'd lay down my imaginary axe, smack my chops, and lay into the plate of pancakes with a "thank you, little lady" thrown over my shoulder to Laura. She would beam in full trad wife pride at having taken care of her man. There were never real pancakes involved. It wasn't about the pancakes. It was about the tension. That was it. That was the whole game. My mom worked my whole life. We had a housekeeper who stayed home to watch us. But even so, I knew at age 8 that men were supposed to do manly things like chop wood and provide for their families, and that it was the wife's duty to feed her husband and children and take care of the house. I had heard the phrase man and wife so often at that point that defining people that way, the man as his own entity and the wife as his obedient companion, became my worldview, in spite of my hard-working feminist mother. I also knew that there was something sexy about performing manual labor with my shirt off and having a beautiful woman serve me food as a reward for my efforts. After finishing the sequence, we'd switch roles. Laura would take off her shirt and play the lumberjack. I would put on a frilly dress to play her dutiful, beautiful wife. I'm not sure if Laura liked switching roles as much as I did. I can't remember if that was part of the appeal for her. Maybe it was. She never complained about it. But I don't remember playing the wife the way I remember playing the lumberjack. The lumberjack role was my jam. I identify as non-binary because what I've been told of women has never come close to containing all that I am. As a girl, stories always described the main characters, if they were women, as dainty, beautiful, small, swan-like, graceful. That's what all the Disney princesses were. Impossibly tiny waists, impossibly big eyes, and impossibly long lashes. I was none of those things. When I was a girl, I was divorced from my body's natural signals by a first-time mother who worried I wasn't eating enough and forced food down my little baby throat, and a lifestyle that made food abundantly available. I was chubby by the time I was 6 or 7. I remember a piece of bologna being slapped out of my hands at age 4 or 5 by my older brother, a teenager who had just spent years in the gym to avoid being the fat kid at school. He told me that if I snacked too much, I'd be fat. My parents nodded their agreement. Being fat was the worst thing you could be. I could tell from their grave faces, from the way they all lived in fear of gaining weight themselves. I haven't been okay around food since. I made myself pretty eventually. I learned how to be pretty. It's a skill set. and a collection of daily practices. Anyone can be pretty if they are determined enough and willing to make sacrifices. One must learn how to apply makeup, how to style hair, how to put an outfit together that flatters the shape, or bullies it into a shape, that people will accept as sufficiently female. Small waist, hourglass of the bosom and hips, absolutely no hideous overhangs of fat emerging from behind straps or seams. The proportions, just so. Hide the thick thighs and calves. The ankles are acceptably narrow, thank your lucky stars, so you can let them show. And for God's sake, put down the fork and go for a jog once in a while. I've tried for small and delicate many times. It left me with jutting bones, visible veins, and a hunger that couldn't be satisfied until I'd returned to a reasonable size. I was weak, so very feminine for a while there. Weak with hunger. The stories in films and books told me that women crave the love and support of one man to the exclusion of all others. I dutifully dreamed of finding a soulmate, although I never fantasized about a big wedding the way my friends did. Deep down inside, I craved connection, intimacy, sex, and novelty. I lost my virginity to the first man who told me he loved me, the baseline of respectability I had decided, with the intention to get it over with so I could start having all the sex. That's not ladylike, they said. Women aren't supposed to be interested in sex the way men are. Actually, I was told many times, starting around 8th grade when I was 12, that science had proven that women weren't wired to crave sex the way men were. Men wanted lots of sex with lots of partners, and women wanted commitment from one partner and could kind of take or leave sex. Sex was for men. It was something we did to please men. But I was so sexual. I wanted sex with lots of people and not just men. I started masturbating that same year when I was 12, and my fantasies were often kinky and always bisexual. Something must be wrong with me. My mother once told me, I think you must have higher testosterone levels than other girls. They told me that women yearn to become mothers, that the sight of babies should make my ovaries throb. My ovaries have only ever throbbed for a particular combination of sex appeal and emotional trauma. And actually, that might have been my clit, not my ovaries. I don't have much of a relationship with my ovaries, to be honest. I love babies now that I have friends who have made them, but when I was younger, I found babies unsettling. What's the use of a small wrinkled thing that screams and cries endlessly and cannot speak or hold a conversation? That literally needs you to wipe its poopy butt for it. I have never changed a diaper. Women are supposed to love frilly things, lacy things, the color pink, dainty, decorative things, precious moments figurines and adorable miniature tea sets, tiny, easy-to-break frivolities. Perhaps we are expected to like these things as a reflection of our tiny, easy-to-break selves. But as my child self discovered, frilly things are uncomfortable and lacy things are itchy. I've worn them when I've been forced to by others, or when trying to please someone else. They've had the desired effect. But I've never felt like my truest self in a frilly, lacy thing. Most dresses make me feel a little off axis, especially the ones that close around your midsection like a vice. I tried to like dolls and dollhouses, but my Barbies pretty much always became weird Barbies, which made Kate McKinnon's star cameo in the Barbie movie a moment of deep recognition and validation for my child heart. Stomping around the playing field, trouncing all the pretty feminine Barbies. I liked the fucked up monster Barbies better. The pretty ones just made me feel bad about myself. Pink is fine, but so is blue. And why have we assigned genders to colors again? Can anyone explain that bit of nonsense to me? Why does the father of my sweet godchildren get upset when his son wants to play with a pink thing? While we're on the topic, why did my amazing friend marry such a patriarchal caveman? Why do so many of my incredible female friends do this? Are we that starved for options? Yes, we are. My favorite thing to do in a frilly dress as a child was to spin around as fast as I could, making the skirt fly up in a spinning disc around my waist, not a care in the world that my undies were showing. This was the wrong way to enjoy a dress, I was told. You can do that at home, but not in public. It's not ladylike, and you must be ladylike in public. Ladies do not spin with abandon, showing off their nether regions and laughing happily. Ladies cross their legs demurely when they sit. Ladies must wear dresses that by their ridiculous construction will always carry the risk of exposing your private parts to the world. But we must be careful never to let that happen. We must be physically closed off, cross the legs, keep the thighs closed, always, curtsy, because bowing might expose your rear end. You're supposed to deliver the tantalizing prospect of indecent exposure by wearing a garment that literally has the wind going up your hoo-ha, but you must still remain out of reach with your very mindful, very demure physicality. Oop. So many rules for existing in the public view as a girl or woman. As a teenager, sitting with my thighs pressed closely together hurt terribly. My thighs were the wrong size for prim feminine sitting. I wondered if every woman in the world was used to the muscles in her thighs burning and aching while she sat. Were they all smiling through the pain like I was? Was it easier for more naturally feminine women, for naturally thin women, than it was for gross, fat, ugly me? I wondered if every woman I saw was different when she was alone like I was. I wondered if they all felt the same freedom I felt when I was out of public view, when I no longer had to adapt all of my behaviors to the world's collective definition of girlhood. When I could spread my legs, let my stomach go, relax, and enjoy my little space in the world with no fear of judgment or condemnation. I really don't know if my discomfort with my body is gender dysphoria or the constant tension between the shape I've been told a woman should be and the shape that I am. I've given this much thought over the years. I began identifying as non-binary during the pandemic because I realized in the vacuum that the virus created that the constraints of femininity had always severed me from the full expression of who I am. I was a chubby kid and a chubbier teenager. No one thought my body was correct or acceptable. The parentally enforced diets started at age 10 and almost never worked. The one exception, the Atkins diet. I quit the day I found myself crying uncontrollably over not being able to eat a slice of watermelon. As a result, I've mostly hated my body throughout my life. I've struggled mightily to feel good about it, and sometimes I succeed, but mostly it's just struggle. I always hated my period and have erased it from existence with birth control pills. I skipped the placebo week, it's awesome. But don't you miss your period? Women ask me, shocked. Don't you want to be in touch with your body as a woman? No, I do not miss it. I do not find it comforting or comfortable to bleed from the snatch for 5 days straight. It makes me want to be out of my body. Not to mention the mental crazy that comes with it. I try to love my breasts, but I often fail. They don't look like the breasts that society celebrates. They're not perfectly symmetrical globes that stand up on their own, nipples pointing perfectly forward like little soldiers at attention, or maybe slightly upward like flirtatious little buttons. They are far apart and require being violently pushed up and together by shaping garments to create cleavage. Once, an idiot I was making out with outside a bar lowered the neckline of my shirt and frowned as he slurred, "Huh. They don't look like how I thought they would." That kind of casual shittiness leaves marks on your psyche. It becomes part of how you see yourself, no matter how you try to reframe or disregard it. Ever since that moment, I've wondered if every new lover is disappointed in my breasts when they see them for the first time. When I'm bigger, my breasts are bigger, and because of that, they were my prized physical asset as a chubby young adult. I knew what the world wanted from me, so I pushed them up and showed them off. I wanted the external validation. I wanted to be seen as desirable. But secretly, my whole life, I've longed to be one of those flat-chested, scrawny, androgynous types, like Shane, Catherine Mennick from The L Word. That was the best thing about being really skinny for me, for the 5 minutes I managed to force my body into being really skinny. I could really disappear in some menswear. I could be suave and dashing. I didn't have heaving bosoms and swinging hips to distract you from my broad shoulders and back, my big hands and feet. When I was really thin, my body was hard and angular, and my boobs were small enough that I could forget about them. Being curvaceous is deeply annoying to me. It is a constant reminder that I present as female and am well served in our society by feminizing my appearance and behavior as much as possible when in the presence of others. If I'm having a day where I want to be that simple-minded lumberjack, swinging heavy things around and relaxing into the meditation of physical labor, those curves are in the way of my truest expression. I can't tell if that's gender dysphoria or just plain old poor body image, born from a lifetime of seeing only a very narrow set of female body types being celebrated. Maybe if my upbringing had included the celebration of female bodies that were thick, stocky, muscular, powerful, broad, and bulky, I wouldn't feel so deeply like my body is wrong. Maybe if our definition of womanhood was broader and less confined by patriarchal ideas of feminine weakness, I wouldn't have so much trouble identifying as a woman. I deeply wish I had a penis, but not all the time. I want one that I could switch on and off, like a special luxury attachment. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to give up my vagina. I love her. She has served me very well and continues to serve with enthusiasm and vigor. She is anything but weak, my pussy. She easily outlasts most of the pricks that have approached her. But, I could do some real damage with the penis. Ooh, the good kind of damage. Damage that leaves lovers all sweaty and breathless and grinning and spent. If I had a penis and could fuck my own pussy, I am sure the universe would implode from the ecstasy created from that impossible fusion. Before you start talking about the magic of strap-ons, I know. They are a wonderful substitute and I've owned several. I'm just fairly certain that it's better when the strap-on has nerve endings that are connected to your brain and make you feel all the fireworks too. Can some lesbian sex tech genius please start working on this technology? Please? I identify as non-binary because our definition of womanhood cannot contain me. I require a new definition. And my guess is that you do too. Whether you are a woman or a man or neither or both, my guess is that you have been just as hurt by all this as I have. All this insistence that women should be pretty and delicate and small, and men should be big and strong and stoic, and anyone who doesn't adhere to those poles is violating nature herself, is fucking us all up. Never mind that we are all the product of nature herself, and that only a few of us fit these narrow definitions of woman and man. I would wager that maybe none of us do, if we were really telling the truth in our hearts. Maybe we are all a collection of qualities that flow across endless spectrums, each a unique individual, no two of us exactly alike in any way. Maybe the poles of masculine and feminine have nothing to do with genitalia, sex, or gender expression. We need to revise our conception of who we are and who we should be. We need to expand our definitions to include all the variety we see around us, to honor each other for our differences, to celebrate the sheer diversity of humanity instead of a set of manufactured ideals that change with the times and that are used primarily to make us feel awful about ourselves, so we'll buy products designed to fix us. Notice I said expand our definitions, not expand our vocabulary. I really think the onslaught of new terms and word policing that have sprung up around gender and sexuality in the last several decades are a direct response to all the bullshit I've described in this essay. But in many cases and for many people, all the new terminology has muddied the water of truth and made things terribly confusing for the people who don't understand why we need all these new words. I say use whatever words you want, but on a broader scale. It might be more effective to expand the definitions of the words we already have. Create your own definitions. Hell, why not? Language is malleable. When people ask me my pronouns, I say any and all. I could really give a fuck what pronouns you use for me. I've had cisgender women make fun of me during performances and say I looked like a drag queen, as if that's an insult. I take it as a compliment now, but at the time, I felt pretty dragged. Pardon the pun. When I hear people, particularly women, criticizing other women for looking too masculine because they are athletic and muscular, I get so mad. Stop policing us this way. The controversy over female Olympic athletes being too strong to be real women, and all the various methods of gender testing the Olympics overlords have done since the first time women were allowed to compete has me in a fucking lather. They don't do this to male athletes. Why? Geneticists have begged the IOC for decades to stop gender testing female athletes, repeatedly reminding them that XX or XY chromosomes do not a man or woman make. And they have been routinely ignored by the men who run the Olympics. The message is clear. Real women shouldn't be as strong as Imani Khalif or as fast as Caster Semenya. At this point in my life, I think the whole concept of gender is an illusion forced on us by thousands of years of patriarchy. Biological sex is a spectrum like everything else is a spectrum, because there are no such thing as binaries in this universe. Call me he, she, they, whatever, I don't care. I am me. I can't be contained by a single word in the English language or any other. We're all different levels of everything. We're all masculine and feminine, fragile and hardy, rambunctious and timid, to different degrees and in different combinations, depending on the situation we find ourselves in. It's fucking epic, the range of qualities each one of us is able to exhibit. Let's let ourselves be epic. Let's allow and acknowledge and celebrate our inherent fluidity, and stop forcing ourselves into molds that don't fit anyone. We can collectively reject patriarchal gender roles and accept our multifaceted nature. And we have to, if we want to be authentically ourselves. Little boys can and must cry. Little girls can and must rage. Girls and boys are not so different. And even after puberty more clearly defines our sexual features, our personality differences, from my view, seem more based in the lessons of culture than biological hardwiring. One doesn't enjoy cleaning more than the other. One isn't more likely to be good at chess. They can both be wounded by neglectful, abusive, or predatory adults. They can both be kind, nurturing parents, emotionally attuned to their children. They can both be sluts. They can both be prudes. They can both be anything they want or don't want to be. They have the same potential for every kind of outcome in life, if you remove societal obstacles like gender roles and gender bias. So let's remove the societal obstacles. Let's wipe out the idea that girls and women are inherently weaker and more docile than boys and men, and replace it with the truth we see around us every day and know deep down in our viscera. Girls and women are all the things we say they are and all the things we say boys are. They are loud and rowdy. They are persistent, angry, and competitive. They are capable of taking wild risks, behaving violently, and becoming neglectful, cruel parents. They are not particularly small or delicate as a rule. Only a small percentage of them are what media standards would consider pretty. Girls and women are all the things. Let's also adopt the truth about boys and men we see around us every day. Boys and men have a full spectrum of emotions at their disposal, whether they express them or not, including feelings of sadness, anxiety, and deep, nurturing care. They are not loud, large, tall, or physically strong as a rule. They are capable of incredible kindness and gentleness. They often do everything they can to avoid violence. They are just as prone to being cautious and conservative as they are to being driven by impulse. Only a teeny tiny percentage of them are what magazines and movies would consider properly masculine. Boys and men are all the things. Traditional gender roles don't allow anyone to be their most fully expressed self, because literally every person is a mix of masculine and feminine qualities. And the qualities we've decided are masculine and feminine are often arbitrary. Or, no, not arbitrary. They are based on a worldview that says men are superior to women, and therefore everything that is strong is masculine and everything that is weak is feminine. Trying to squash yourself into one extreme or the other on the gender spectrum means denying your fluidity, your wholeness. Let's stop. Let's all be non-binary, because we all are. I identify as non-binary because there is no other sane way to be in a world that keeps insisting that women, fully half the population of the world, should be treated as merely the domestic helpmates of men, instead of the equal partners that we are and have been for thousands of years of human existence before the patriarchy grabbed us by the throat a few thousand years ago. I suspect this is the reason a lot of women, who otherwise don't present as genderqueer, are now identifying as non-binary and using she-they pronouns. We are women, proudly so. But what the world calls a woman cannot contain us. We cannot be contained by ideas of humanity that are divorced from our breathtaking, beautiful reality. I am feminine and masculine, sweet and challenging, caring and selfish, soft as velvet and hard as diamonds. I am a woman, but I am also not a woman according to any definition I've ever seen championed by our society as a whole. Fuck the binary. Let's accept and acknowledge reality, my dudes and dudettes, and all you delicious ambiguous doodles in between. We are all the things. Let's allow ourselves to be all the things.
We all got secrets. We all got secrets.
I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gave you some food for thought. I encourage you to go and have conversations about this with the people you're spending your holiday season with, especially if they're the kind of people who will defend the binary to the death. I mean, you know, don't cause World War III, but have some nuanced conversations. Challenge the people a little bit in a loving way, not in an attacking way. I have been doing this with my boomer parents for years now, and there has been significant growth in at least one of them. It's not the one that doesn't listen to this podcast, so he'll never know I talked shit like this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Happy holidays. Please, as always, if you haven't already, subscribe to the show, rate and review the show. If you are watching this on YouTube, leave a comment. If you're listening on an audio platform, know that there is video for these bonus episodes I'm releasing. Follow me on social media at samia.mounts on Instagram and TikTok. You can also follow the show on Instagram at closetedwithsamia. Email me at closetedpodcast@gmail.com with your thoughts, your wishes, your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations, your nuanced constructive critiques. And also your stories. I am still looking for guests for season 2, and maybe that guest could be you. I don't know. Send me an email. I'll protect your identity with my life. You can also record an anonymous mini confession on your voice memo app and send me that. So send everything you want to communicate to me to closetedpodcast@gmail.com or DM me on social media. I read and respond to everything myself. This is a direct line to me. I am accessible to you. Who knows how long that'll last? I mean, this show could get really big and then it might be hard to get to me, but right now you can get to me like real easy. So please reach out and enjoy your holidays. I'll be back next week with another cute little monologue release for you, probably. I don't know. Maybe it'll be an interview. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I get together. Okay? It's the holidays. Take it easy. And stay saucy, pinecones.
We all got secrets.
Hear that? That's what's called green noise. I'd never even heard of green noise before I discovered the BetterSleep app. Now I can't imagine my life without it. As a long-suffering insomniac and a person with ADHD, hello racing thoughts, BetterSleep has changed my life. Green noise is proven to soothe the mind, improving both relaxation and focus. So whether I need to fall asleep fast or settle in for some focused work, the BetterSleep app has my back, and I'm not alone. BetterSleep has over 65 million downloads. It's been featured in the New York Times, Forbes, and Today, and is an Apple App Store editor's choice. And green noise is just the beginning. The app has dozens of relaxing sounds you can mix together in different combinations depending on your needs. Here's the best part. You can try it for free for 30 whole days with the link bettersleep.com/closeted. That's right. You can get a whole month of great sleep for free. For real, this app is the only reason I'm functioning right now. I used to be so tired. Go try it. bettersleep.com/closeted.